Hey, welcome back to another episode of Tech Talk. I am your host, Jeff Hootselle from AuditMax. Hey guys, so Tech Talk is a show where we talk to IT leaders, we talk to subject matter experts, really in all areas of technology. We hear about their kind of unique perspective and interesting things that they're working on. We've always got great guests on the show, and today is no different. We're really excited to welcome Sue Bergamo with Episerver. Sue's the CIO and CISO with the company. So she's joining us today from Boston, Massachusetts. Sue, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm really happy to be here today.
Yeah, happy to see you. Happy to have you here with us. I'm curious from the beginning. A lot of folks may not be familiar with Episerver. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about the company and really what makes you guys unique.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think if I had to start and say anything, we're the best kept e-commerce secret out there. So we offer a customer-centric approach to digital experiences. And our product, the digital experience platform, is really best in class. We've been, different analyst reports and media recognition around our vision and our capabilities and our commitment to the customer. So our product is backed by AI and personalization solutions to offer the ultimate customer experience.
That's great. So talk to me for kind of the layman, tell me a little more about digital experience and really what that means to kind of the end user and customer and to these companies you work with.
Well, digital experience shouldn't be a buzzword, and especially right now in a pandemic, people had to find ways to shop online. Goods, services, products, whatever it is that you need comes from some sort of e-commerce website, and that's what we do for our customers. We have a platform that is built on a series of APIs, and we help our customers, over 8,000 customers, build terrific transactional sites and get them the ultimate digital experience in providing a place where their customers can come and purchase different goods.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think, especially living now, so, stores were closed for a while, especially in retail. We'll just talk about that kind of as an example. I mean, stores were shuttered, overnight in a lot of cases. A lot of folks had an online premise, but maybe it wasn't quite where they wanted to be. But really those that had a good plan, that had that infrastructure you're talking about, and had really spent time thinking about that digital experience, have seemingly kind of weathered that storm much, much better than those that were kind of scrambling to get a plan set up for that. I mean, when you guys look at this and customer expectations now, what is today's perspective on customer expectations in a digital experience? Do you think they're kind of continuing to get higher and higher on what we expect out of our retailers and those providers?
I think the expectation is extremely high right now. So when the pandemic first started, there really were three types of companies out there: those that were prepared, those that were semi-prepared, and those that weren't at all. And unfortunately, many of those businesses have shuttered. If you didn't have a digital presence, your business model, really was impacted tremendously. So we are able to help companies increase their foothold in the digital world, and the expectations are very high out there, especially now. There's, really everyone has had to have some sort of digital footprint. So your commerce site needs to be seamless, it needs to be easy, and it needs to have the ability for customers to find goods really, really easily, and everything from just doing search capabilities to returns in a very easy fashion. The expectations couldn't be higher right now throughout the world, not just in the U.S.
Yeah, and I think
that will increase.
Yeah, I think you talk about that now. As you go online, that shopping experience, I mean, the companies that really do it well, it's just that. It's a very natural, it's a very elegant experience. It's you don't have to think or struggle with it. And the ones that do it poorly, you really feel it, and you can tell it's there. So you mentioned you guys use AI in your platform. You guys are collecting a lot of data, and you're really trying to give that customized approach to it. How do you balance that with the privacy concerns folks have over their data, right? We kind of want our cake and eat it too, right? We want to have a great experience. It's seamless and intuitive, and you know us, but I don't want you to know me too well and know too much information about me. So how do you guys kind of balance that?
Well, we're very compliant. First off, we're an ISO 27001 shop, which for people that don't understand ISO 27001, it's all around security controls. We're also GDPR compliant because you have to be when you coexist in a global world. So data privacy is not only an expectation that we have for ourselves, it's also an expectation that our customers have for us. So we have to balance between collecting information that we can use, not sell, but use for our own business purposes in a reasonable business fashion, versus collecting information that is not reasonable and not needed. So we only collect what we absolutely need. We get consent, which is a big part of GDPR. If someone doesn't, especially someone who lives in the European Union, doesn't give consent to opt in to receiving information from us, then that's not a good way of doing business. And we encourage and help our customers to deliver sites that also should be compliant. So, data privacy definitely starts with us, but there's a whole other piece of it on any e-commerce site, which is making sure that businesses that are building these sites have good compliance in mind when they're building them. So again, opting in, and this isn't just an European Union issue. There are multiple states in the U.S. that have their own data privacy laws. California with CCPA is just one of them. Massachusetts has one as well, CMR 17. And there are about 25 others right now that are starting. So it would be nice if we picked one, but that doesn't seem to be the way that we're all going to be working. We're all going to have different ones. So
they don't make it too easy on you. So Sue, you mentioned kind of the three categories of companies. Those are really prepared, and those are kind of had done some work, but maybe not quite ready yet, and those that hadn't as they led into this pandemic experience. For the guys that are kind of caught in that middle section of that, and they're thinking about their strategy, and now that we're seeing this may be prolonged for a while with the COVID pandemic, what advice would you give them as they're thinking about their digital strategy and their experience? Where do they go from here if they're kind of in that middle ground of, hey, we know we need to get a better solution than what we have today, but we're just not there yet, and we need some guidance and handholding. Where would you tell them to start? Well,
there's lots of places they could start. So I would say do an assessment first off of what they have currently. So I think this is an exciting time to build e-commerce sites and to change your business model into more of a digital world and a footprint. So I do a lot of tech advisory with different firms, and I say the same thing all the time. This is the time to get your back end in office, organized and in the back office, I should say. So look at process, look at inefficiencies, look at potential applications that may need to be replaced. Understand your supply chain. How do you move that into a cloud-based environment? It's not that hard. And then look at the workloads that can be lifted and shifted to a cloud environment. And then figure out, how to build a website that's, B2B, B2C, and then, select a great vendor like Episerver to help you build an e-commerce platform. But they're going to head down that route, shoot for the stars. There are companies out there that have a foothold in the industry. They are the leaders. We all know who I'm talking about. You can strive to be that, but you've got to take baby steps going forward. So, really look at what you're trying to sell. Look at your personalization services. These are things that customers expect. And then look at, how seamless you can make that transaction and the process around the transaction. So those are all the things that I would give advice on.
That's great. Sue, that's great advice. I think we'd all be very well off to consider that stuff. And I think people would be smart to reach out to Episerver and learn more about you guys. So, hey, thanks so much for joining us today. We appreciate your take on everything here. I think it's some great advice for those out there watching. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for having me. Have a great day and stay safe.
All All right, thank you. And thank you guys for joining us as well. We'll catch you on the next Tech Talk.